Well, the weekend has come to an end, but we do not end things here. If you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, you're always at the right channel. For today, we got two reviews coming from that. The first one is from Stardom. As you know, they continue with their latest tour. They made a pit stop in Okayama featuring many matches. Keep in mind, some of these matches are preliminary matches for upcoming title matches or feuds that we'll be seeing down in the upcoming big events in the future. And then, of course, we move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling with Tanahashi Jam, of course, featuring many matches. We do have, of course, three title matches taking place: the Never Openweight Championship, the New Japan World Television Championship, and then, of course, the semi-main event, the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Hiroki Goto will defend this title against the man he defeated for this title early this year, and this time, let's see if lightning strikes twice or this could be the end of the Goto revolution. We'll just have to wait and see. And then, of course, the main event features a very interesting combination with wrestlers from both New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah teaming up. In the first team, we have, of course, Ryohei Oiwa teaming up with Kaito Kiyomiya, who they teamed up, as you know, during Oiwa's excursion in Noah. But however, the man of the hour, the ace, the president of New Japan, he teams up with Naomichi Marufuji. So that's going to be one hell of a match. And as always, we'll cap up our episode, as usual, with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world, pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. It's time to boogie. So let's begin with our first review, and that is, of course, Stardom. Okay, Stardom. They made their pit stop in Okayama, and this is their most recent show at the Okayama Convention Center. We opened up with Mi Vida Loca, consistent of Akira Kurugani and Brozilla, taking on God's Eye members, Rana Yagat and Hina. Now, nothing too special about this match whatsoever, but of course, factors of this, as you know, Brozilla is the big, strong, more dangerous out of everybody in the entire Stardom roster room, you probably can guess that it would have been her to pick up the win. Nope. However, this match, in a very surprising, it was of course Kuragani who picked up the win, and she pinned Hina, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up the win. But however, this is where the thing is interesting. For those who know, Hina is the current Future of Stardom champion. So by definition, Kuragani cashed in, of course, in the post-match, her opportunity for a shot of the title. Now, this was a title she recently wanted to challenge, but she lost in that #1 contendership against Rian. And now Kuragani is moving forward with it. So I'm sure Hina is going to be well prepared for this one. Now, our next match, we have the other members of God's Eye. We have Lady C and Ami Sori teaming up. They take on Emma Maishima and Mei Sera. Now, nothing too special about this whatsoever. But however, you may notice that Mei Sera and, of course, Emma Maishima, as you probably know, Maishima is currently not affiliated with any faction whatsoever. So that basically would put a factor on this matter. But of course, like any other matter, Maishima is the weakest link due to the fact that she has the least experience in the entire match. And of course, it was Lady C that picked up the win with the big boot, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Our next match, we have, of course, you can say this is a part of a preliminary match. We have BMI 2000, the members of 8, consistent of Uraka and Natsuko Tora. They take on Kyoko Furuzawa and, of course, one half of the Goddesses tag champions, Hana. Now, of course, when it comes to hate, we all know their usual tactics, that they will do whatever it takes to put a beating and a hurt onto their opponents to soften them up, ensure they pick up the win. However, in this case, it was Natsuko Tora with a diving body press onto Furuzawa, and just like that, it was over. But it was the message that's been sent. As you know, Natsuko Tora and Ruka will stand up, will do whatever it takes to gain these belts to prove the point that Stardom is going to be in their control. So we'll see what happens from here on out. Now, our next match, we have the Cosmic Angels, consisting of Sayaka Kurara, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori, taking on God's Eye members, consisting of Tomoka Inaba, Saki Kashima, and Shuri. Now, nothing too special about this match in any way possible, but of course, there were some factors I did like. As you know, when Aya Sakura made her debut before she joined Cosmic Angels, we know that she had a bit of a relationship with Shuri, acting like because as you all know, they both have a background in martial arts, and you can tell this was a showdown between those two. But unfortunately, Shuri picked up the win when she applied into, of course, a submission, and just like that, it was over by tap out. Now, during a post-match comments, it was later revealed, of course, by Shuri that by this coming Sunday, it will be her last show. She's going to give herself a long overdue break due to some injuries and hope to train more in the overseas. However, there is the possibility that she could miss out this year's 5-star Grand Prix. So we don't know the situation about that, but I'll let you guys know if I know more once we get closer and closer to that time. Now, our next match, we have, of course, another preliminary match. We have EXV members, Rian, Hanako, and Waka Tsukiyama taking on Yuria Hime and the members of Stars, Momo Kohgo and Saya Ida. Now, remember, Momo Kohgo and Yuria Hime are the current challengers for the New Blood Tag Team belts. So you can consider this as a preliminary match over that. Now, of course, Yuria Hime, who has least experience, most likely is the X factor of this match, and it kind of did, because it was Waka who picked up the win with the Asushi suplex onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 was over. And of course, we did see a post-match promo from Rice and Bread to their upcoming opponents for the New Blood Tag Team belts. So we will pay attention more what's going to happen from here on out. Now, our main event, this one is a very interesting combination of two different factions. We have Cosmic Angels, consisting of Sayuri Anu and Natsupoi. They team up with Neo Genesis, consisting of Miyu Amasaki, Azumi, and Starlight Kid. They take on Hate members, consistent of Azusa Inaba, Rina, Konami, Momo Watanabe, and Saya Kamitani. Now, there is a preliminary match of this one. Remember, members of Hate, consisting of Konami, Fukigen Def, and Rina, had declared that they will be the next challengers for the artist belts, which currently are in the possession of both Starlight Kid, Azumi, and of course Miyu Amasaki. So that kind of sets it up right there. And of course, Natsupoi, as you know, is the challenger for the red belt against Kamitani. So you can tell that this is a double preliminary match for both sides. But of course, when it comes to it, we all know that they like to throw in dirty tactics in every way possible. But however, it was Azumi who took out Konami with the Azumi Sushi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But however, during the post-match, Starlight Kid continues that she wants to have a match against Sayuri Anu. But however, Sayuri Anu decided to decline the nomination. Now, it's still unclear why she did it. I mean, people can say that Sayuri Anu is a bit selfish, but she has her reasons, and I cannot explain why. But of course, we know that they have to prepare themselves for this coming Sunday for their upcoming match against Hate for the artist belt. So we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll end things here with Stardom and move on with our last review, and that is, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, we have New Japan Pro Wrestling with Tanahashi Jam. So you probably can guess this is a show produced by none other than the ace of New Japan and currently the president of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. So you probably can guess that. Now, we had a bit of a pre-show match took place, and this one features, of course, a young boy from Noah named Daiki Orashima. He takes on, of course, the young lion Katsuya Murashima. Now, I'm going to presume that these are possibly the two top younger wrestlers who are, in fact, making a name for themselves. So you probably can guess that this is more a bit of a Noah versus New Japan, if you like to believe that. But to me, I like to say I'm always fascinated by seeing the young boys making their name for themselves. Like, try to, how do I say, grow from their elements, from their basic wrestling training, and to develop their own. But unfortunately, this match ended in a time limit draw between the two of them. So I have to say they did pretty good job. Like, there was moments where, of course, one had the upper hand, but due to the time limit, it ended after 10 minutes. So just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Ryusuke Taguchi, Shota Umino, and of course, the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. They take on Leona, Hiromu Takahashi, and of course, the legend himself, Tatsumi Fujinami. So you probably know who he is. Some people call him the Dragon or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, many people would say it's like the Fujinami, something, there's a move that's been named after him, that sort of thing. But what I love about this match is some great, interesting moments where we did see a stereo submission at the end featuring Shota and Tanahashi. But in fact, it was, of course, Tanahashi with the Texas Cloverleaf onto Fujinami. And just like that, Fujinami had no choice but to tap to the ace of New Japan. Our next match we have, of course, is the House of Losers, consistent of Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi, Ren Narita taking on Tomohiro Ishii, Taichi, and Yoshihashi, and Yuya Uemura. Now, of course, as you probably can guess, there's a lot of factors of this. I'm sure many of you know that many of these guys in the Hungtai had their dealings with these losers to the very beginning. But however, as you probably know, there's been tensions between both Chase Owens and Yoshihashi. So that kind of lead up to that. But at that scoundrel, Effin Narita, decided to use a push-up bar to take out Yoshihashi, and just like that, Chase Owens applied the crown jewels, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it upped the ante. Now, our next match is the Never Openweight Championship. Our current champion, Bolton Oldleg, defended it against Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata. Now, of course, Yuji Nagata, many of you know, he is a legend in his right. He is a Triple Crown champion. I'm referring to, of course, as the IWGP heavyweight champion, GHC heavyweight champion, and not to mention the Triple Crown champion from All Japan. So you can tell that's what makes him a legend. But of course, Boltin Oleg will put himself through the test against a veteran wrestler who's an excellent striker and a submission. But I have to say, Boltin Oleg survived it when he applied the kamikaze, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he retained the championship. Now, before we proceed, we did see a bit of a promo coming from Aaron Wolf. Now, many of you may know who he is. Aaron Wolf is a judo Olympic gold winner who won his championship back in 2020 during, of course, the Tokyo Olympics. So that leads it up. And now he signed a contract, and he will be making his debut soon, starting in 2026, as we learned. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen. But I'm sure there'll be eyes on him as we go. So we'll see where that leads. Now, let's jump into, of course, to our next match. We have the other House of Losers, consisting of Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Doiki Sho Sanada, taking on Master Wato, Yo, Desperado, and of course, someone from Dragon Gate, Dragon Kid. So if you guys probably ask yourself, what is he doing here? Well, he does have a bit of a relationship with Desperado, because Desperado likes to call him his big brother because he's older than him. And I have to say, Dragon Kid is a perfect guy to help them out. And not to mention, we did see a lot of tactics when it comes to, of course, the House of Losers. They always use these tactics, but it backfired on them. But in the end, it was Master Wato who walked away with the win when he pinned, of course, Kanemaru. But of course, you got to remember, it was Yo, Yo, Wato, and of course Toroyano that stole the championships away from House of Torture. And you know that they're trying to play mind games with them, but sooner or later they have to defend those belts one way or another. Now, our next match, we have the New Japan World Television title. El Phantasmo defends it against someone he knows too well, Taiji Shimori. As you all know, as El Phantasmo, a former member of the Bullet Club, has to face someone he has teamed up with in the past, but now they're they're right across from each other this time. But the real question is, can El Phantasmo survive a guy like Taiji Shimori? Well, I have to say, he did everything humanly possible. I think he did his homework, because he countered the crossbones onto him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, El Phantasmo retained the championship. But one thing or another, never trust Taiji, because of course El Phantasmo saw that along the way, because Taiji Shimori was about to do something until he got punched in the gonads, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have the United Empire, consisting of Jacob Austin Young, Cal Newman, and Great Okan, taking on Yota Tsuji, Shingo Takagi, and of course a surprise tag partner all the way from Dragon Gate. We're talking about Shun Skywalkers. Yep, surprise, surprise. Now, of course, many of you know that Shun Skywalker is from Dragon Gate, but for those who may or may not know this, Shingo Takagi used to be in that promotion many, many years ago, and this was before 2019 or so. But nonetheless, it's great that he gets to team up with someone from his past. But there was a moment where we did see a bit of a dissension between Skywalker and Takagi, but luckily they were able to resolve it. But in the end, it was Skywalker who was able to pick up the win on Newman, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match is for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. You can consider this one a rematch. As you know, Hiroki Goto won this belt from Zack Sabre Jr. earlier this year, but the real question is, as the obvious question is, does lightning strike twice? Well, I have to say it has on many occasions, but in the end, it was a brutal match. I mean, it was deadly. You got to remember, Zack Sabre Jr. has been declared as one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. And of course, Goto knows it too well, but the real question is, can he survive it? Well, obviously he did not, because he got submitted, and just like that, Zack Sabre Jr. regained the championship. And just like that, he is a two-time IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Now, our main event, we have, of course, is an interesting tag team match. We have Ryohei Oiwa teaming up with his former tag partner when he was during his excursion in Noah. We have Kaito Kiyomiya, the Supernova. They take on, of course, Naomichi Marufuji and Hiroshi Tanahashi, the two veterans from in their respective promotions. And I thought this match was pretty good. I have to say the veterans really put up a fight. But in the end, it was, of course, Tanahashi with the high five flow onto Oiwa. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. So just like that, the veterans picked up the win. So that's how it ends in New Japan Tanahashi Jam. I can't wait to see the next show. But, however, let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. All right, welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events. The first one, as you know, we have from Wrestling Revolver. Now, they announced a brand new show on July 9th, and it's called Revolver Roulette. Now, I don't know exactly who's going to participate, but this is a very short window. Hopefully, they can resolve that. But however, they do have an upcoming event on August 9th called the Jerry Lynn Invitational, and they just announced 3 participants in this event. The first one is none other than Ninja Mac. Second, Priscilla Kelly. Many may know her as, of course, Gigi Dolan. And finally, Jimmy Jacobs. Now, GCW will have their Hartford, Connecticut event on the 5th of July called The Top Play. They announced Bear Bronson will take on Beastman. Deadlock Pro Wrestling with their Tag Festival event taking place on the 13th of July. They announced the current tag team champions, Grizzle Young Vets, will be participating. And then finally, House of Glory has announced that they will be doing a show in Philadelphia. However, the date and the venue will be to announce at a later time. So I'll keep you guys apprised to that. So that's pretty much it for upcoming events. Let's talk about certain developments. As you all know, recently we know that the New Blood tag team belts will be defended at a New Blood show. Hanako and Waka Tsukiyama, known as Rice and Red, will face off Momo Kohgo and Yuria Hime. However, it was later announced that Momo Kohgo and Yuria Hime now have a new tag name. They call themselves Peach and Lily. Now, for those who know why they call it that way, well, for those who do not, there is, of course, Momo Kohgo, known as the Peach or something like that, and just like that's her nickname, and that was a name that was given to her when she first joined Stars. But however, Lily is, of course, Yuria Hime, so that's how the whole thing is. It's about Peach and Lily, so it's a very interesting name. Now, recently, Body Slam Net has revealed that Octogan Jr. has signed a contract with WWE. So as this moment forward, apparently he will no longer be accepting any independent bookings this going forward. So as you know, I mentioned the Psycho Clown did the same thing. So it looks like they're interested in Octogan Jr. because many people are considering maybe reinventing the rivalry of an old feud between Octogan and Penta. But we'll see how that goes. And then finally, Denise Salcido was able to get an interview with Sting. Now, one of the interviews, Sting revealed that Darby Allin has been keeping in contact with him throughout his entire time in the climb in Mount Everest. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that Darby was only calling him. I'm like, that's kind of interesting to hear that. But however, of course, he did send him the panoramic video when they reached the summit of Mount Everest. So I'm sure Sting is very happy for him that he accomplished a goal, and hopefully we get to see him again. So I have to say it's great to hear that Darby has been keeping in contact with Sting. I mean, people would say he probably does not have any family, but I would like to consider that maybe Sting to Darby must be family, as you all, Sting taught Darby Allin a few things, and was learning under him, of course. I mean, he didn't treat him like, like an underling. He just treated him like just a guy who has a lot of potential. So can't wait to see Darby Allin again. Who knows when we'll see him, but we'll just have to wait and see. So as of right now, let's call it a day. Alright, so I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do, but I am considering maybe, just maybe, part of me is telling me to give myself a break, but we'll see. Because right now I have a bit of a short window at the moment, but we'll see how things will roll. But as of right now, I'll leave things as it is. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.